Good morning and welcome once again to Indiana Insiders. I'm Kevin Rader. We're a little over a week away from Election Day. We have a governor on the campaign trail in the Northeast, not of Indiana, but the country, and an interesting deadline just passed last Friday. Fortunately, I have Democrat Robin Winston and Republican Peter Rustoven here to help me sort all of this out, gentlemen. Let's start, first of all, with the statewide races. We've got three there, Robin. How's that size?
Well, we have three great candidates. Beth White running for Secretary of State, Mike Claytor running for State Auditor, and Mike Bolden running for State Treasurer. They've been all around the state. In fact, if viewers would see them today, they'd be out in their communities. They're going to be out next weekend. They've run good campaigns, all talking about positive issues.
And Peter?
This is a race. All these races are coming a year where we don't have a president at the top of the ballot. We don't have a governor at the top of the ballot. This is one of those odd, even years, if you will, when we don't have a U.S. Senator running. So it will probably go on sort of baseline party vote throughout the state, and baseline party vote throughout the state strongly favors the Republicans. Connie Lawson is going to be reelected Secretary of State, and she should. Kelly Mitchell is going to be elected State Treasurer, and she should. And Suzanne Crouch, our Republican candidate for Auditor, is going to be elected. They are all women, and I think, as you pointed out when we've had prior conversations, it's the first time it's been all women. But you know, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann is a woman. Lieutenant Governor Skillman before her, and going back to when I was just a pup in legal practice here, Marge O'Loughlin was a statewide Republican elected woman. So it's not like this is some new thing for us.
Turn our attention to the local races. Marion County Sheriff and Prosecutor. Peter, I guess we'll start with you. John Layton, Emmett Carney for Sheriff. Prosecutor Terry Curry and Dwayne Merchant.
This is one where I think that the baseline vote is going to tilt the other way. I think Marion County tilts slightly Democratic now in the demographics. If you are a very strong candidate, as Mayor Ballard has been, you can overcome that. In the past, we've had prosecutorial candidates who have overcome that. Right now, I think barring some issue that really tilts it some way or grabs attention, I think the Republican candidates are doing a good job. But I think it's a tougher road to hoe here in Marion County than it used to be.
Democratic territory.
Well, considering that the voters make the decision on it, we have won very well in Marion County. But we also have outstanding candidates. I mean, Terry Curry's done a good job as prosecutor, and John Layton's done a great job as sheriff. And they're taking that message out. You just don't win in a vacuum. I mean, I'd love to say that, but the fact of the matter is voters are voting for these people because of their experience and the job they're doing.
I think some people are voting based on who the people are. I mean, of course they are, and some pay more attention than others. But I think it's simply true that unless a local race like this grabs the headlines for some reason, some large issue or some issue about a candidate, then it does tend to default to who's got the sort of basic advantage party-wise. Statewide, that is Republican. Marion County used to be Republican, but the demographics has changed, and now it tilts a little Democrat.
Speaking of grabbing headlines, Governor Mike Pence has been on the campaign trail this week in the Northeast of the country, stumping for Republicans in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and last but not least, New Hampshire. What do we make of all that, Robin?
Well, he's not in Wisconsin or Illinois, which are pretty close to us, and that's one thing. But, you know, I don't know what the governor's doing. What I do know is he's not in Indiana, and he knows what he's doing, so he'll have to talk about that later. Right now, we're focused on things that matter at the kitchen table here in Indiana, and that's education, job training, and things that matter with Hoosiers every day.
Peter?
I think that, Robin, it's so funny when you go into your faux coy mode.
Right.
Look, the governor is very popular nationally. He is a sought-after speaker by a lot of people. The legislature is not in session. This is the period when you do those things. And I recall Evan Bayh taking a few trips when he was governor, too.
Of course he did.
Is he running for president?
Oh, I don't think he's running for president, and you know, and I don't think you see the polling they do of Republican candidates. Some people mention Pence, but generally he's not in there. And you know, the governor has given no indication that he wants to do anything other than continuing to do the great job he's doing here in Indiana. So, to my knowledge, he's not running for president, but people sure want him speaking for him, which I think is a compliment to the state and to him.
And finally, this morning, an interesting debate came and went last week. Indiana had the chance to secure up to $80 million over 4 years and opted not to. The governor says he wants to concentrate on the pilot program he piloted through the legislative session on pre-K just last year. We couldn't get the governor on this. He was out of the state, as we just pointed out, but we did catch Superintendent of Public Instruction Glenda Ritz and Indianapolis Mayor Greg Ballard.
Well, keep in mind that when you write a grant for funding, you are submitting your plan. So the plan that we were going to submit is Indiana's way of doing it.
It surprised me, to be frank. I'm not sure what all that was involved, but it surprised me, frankly.
Well, Peter, Indiana's long been a tax donor state. Did we miss an opportunity here to change that?
I think we missed an opportunity that would have come with significant costs. I'm glad we didn't take them. We have a pre-K program in this state because the governor went and personally testified to the legislature last time, reviving a bill that was otherwise dead. This 80 million figure, as you know, is grossly inflated. It is 5 to 20 million a year over 4 years, and they haven't even appropriated more than 1 year. I don't want the feds telling us how to run this program, particularly when we've just started what we're doing.
Rob, I'm going to give you the last word.
You don't want the feds telling us how to run the program, but we'll take highway money, we'll take money for bridges down on the Louisville, Ohio River Bridge project. We'll take federal money whenever we decide we want to take it. This puts our kids at a competitive disadvantage. They don't get into the world economy, the global economy, to be able to compete. Every study has shown that pre-K, the opportunity to get a leading before you go to school, before you go to kindergarten, levels the playing field. The bottom line about this was we could have leveled the playing field for Hoosier children, both of which we have, and made a difference in the state.
That's in fact all wrong. Head Start is a failure, as every study shows, but that's fine.
We're going back to the Nixon era.
Something tells me we're going to hear more on this issue in the coming months. That's going to have to do it for us on this Sunday before Election Day. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Indiana Insiders. We'll see you again next weekend. For Robin and Peter, I'm Kevin Rader. Have a great week, and go Colts.